Joining us now is Tamar Essner. She's a principal at Vectis Energy Partners. Tamar, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So I want to get to some energy news. President Biden is reportedly not ruling out export restrictions as a strategy for easing rising fuel prices. Can you explain how these restrictions might mitigate costs?
Well, I think the idea is that if we keep gasoline and other refined products such as jet fuel for domestic use, it will benefit Americans versus global consumers. The problem with that logic is that the markets are indeed global. And so refiners in the U.S. can't get all of the product that they need from U.S. suppliers, so they import. So not all crude oil is made the same way. So you need different blends and different types of crude oil to create different products, depending on whether it's heating oil or gasoline or jet fuel. So when one country starts making restrictions on exports, other countries tend to follow suit, and it ends up having unintended consequences because refiners in the U.S. can't get what they need from domestic sources, and then they're going to have to pay tariffs on international sources.
Right.
So generally, these policies don't work as well as they sound.
Yeah, it sounds a little more complicated than one might imagine. All right. So, Tamar, the Energy Department also announced a sale of more than 40 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve today. This, of course, is part of the Biden administration's plan to release those 1 million barrels of oil a day for 6 months. So what is your take on this plan? Do you think it's a good idea? Should U.S. officials be doing more of that to combat gas prices?
Well, it's not a bad idea because gasoline prices are obviously so high, and we've seen that basically all recessions in the U.S. Most recessions in the U.S. have been associated with high energy prices, and high energy prices basically always lead to a recession. There have been some recessions that haven't been associated with high energy prices, but basically anytime you have sky high energy prices, it does lead to a recession. The problem is that it's a little bit too little too late. And so really, when you look at what the administration is doing here is they're putting more supply on the market. But the problem really right now, as I mentioned, isn't lack of crude oil. That is a problem, but the main problem is lack of refined products. Again, the stuff that you and I use when we fill up at the pump, the gasoline, the diesel that truckers use, the jet fuel that planes use when they, carry us around. And so the lack of refining capacity is really the problem. So we can pump all the crude oil in the world that we want, but because there have been so many restrictions and cutbacks on refining in the U.S. in the last couple of years, that crude oil can't be turned into products that ultimately the economy needs.
So to your point about high energy prices leading to a recession, U.S. gas prices have been reaching record highs for the past 2 weeks. So how long until we can, one, either expect prices to drop at the pump, or two, expect to see a recession?
Well, I'm fearful that we will have to see even higher prices continue for a longer time in order to really cool demand. So I hope it's not a recession. I hope it's just a slowdown in growth. But we're really looking through at least the end of September being sort of the end of hurricane season, and hurricanes are usually the time that refiners go offline. So the limited capacity that we have right now would get even further diminished in the event, hopefully not, but in the event of a major storm that disrupts refining capacity, because the refiners are typically located along the Gulf Coast. So we're really looking towards the end of the summer season. We're seeing now that there's a lot of pent up demand for traveling, both by train, car, jet. Because of the pandemic, people want to get out. And as much as oil prices and energy prices are really high, they're still pretty moderate as a percentage of disposable income. So we're not really seeing that cooling off in demand. So I'm worried that prices have to stay higher, go higher for an even longer period of time to get that cooling off, until prices will react themselves and get a little lower.
All right. Tamar Essner, principal at Vectis Energy Partners. Thanks. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.